Welcome back to the Crypto Rainn channel. I'm your host, Jay Murph, and from home today. It's a Saturday, so hopefully you're having a great Saturday. I want to share with you some things I'm thinking about as far as where we are in the market. Now, we've had like this mini bear market going on, and we're wondering what is going to happen from here. My guess is a little bit more pain, and then possibly some very good reasons to be bullish. Now, I know that Bitcoin's been taking off. Yeah, went from 28,000 up to 42,000, and that's bullish, right? It is, but I'll share with you why I think a little bit of pain ahead. Now, I'm going to talk today about W patterns. I talked about it a little bit the other day, but what it is frequently a breakout pattern. Now, breakouts don't always follow this pattern. They just often do. And even when a W is forming, it doesn't always play out like this, but it likely plays out like this. So one of the things to know about technical analysis is it doesn't guarantee you where things are going. It just gives you a good idea based on probabilities. So even the best traders are buying and selling based on probabilities. So when the probability of them being right is high, then they go for it. But it doesn't always play out that way. So I want to share with you how I look at these things. Now, I swing trade, and one of the things that happens when you buy spot trading for longer periods is that it's forgiving even when you're wrong, because you're not trading on margin, there's no liquidation point, etc. So let me share with you my charts. Because the lighting on me is terrible with the camera that I'm using here, and just the setup I have going on at home, I'm just going to show the chart. That way you can see the whole thing. This is Bitcoin versus Tether. And what's interesting is when we're taking off, we usually see some W patterns. And this would be a beautiful, bigger leg to a W. But like you probably know with Ws, well, you got to form the second side. And a true W will actually come back down higher than the previous one. So the low will be higher than the previous low. And then it often comes like this, and then it's off to the races. So let's look from Bitcoin. So, we're waiting to see how this plays out. But my guess is this is forming the first side of a big W pattern. I'm going to trade sideways for some more, and then we're ready for a solid breakout. Doesn't mean it will go this way. It's just forming a pattern that's easily recognizable, and there's a strong probability it could play out like this. Let's go over to Cardano, and Cardano I'm very bullish on. This is interesting. It's a little bit hard to read, and so W's usually have some roundness to them, and this is not very round. This is also a little bit odd because now you could draw this slightly different and say it came all the way to here, but it did wick all the way to there. But what you frequently see on a true W is that the second side is higher, and it's not clear in this case that it is higher. And so we'll see how this plays out. Now, what frequently happens on a W, if it is a W, it will come back up to some point higher here. Then it will wick back down to this point, and then it's off to the races. Now, there's a big hard fork coming up for the last part of Goguen. And so I imagine that Cardano should have some price action as we get close to that date. And a lot of times, they say buy the rumor, sell the news, because a lot of pricing runs up close to the event, and then actually on the event often the price drops from there. So that event could happen as soon as 1 month from now if there's no delays, and so we will see how this plays out. But the fundamentals behind it would suggest that's what should be happening. Now, another one I want to look at is ORN. Now, this is Orion Protocol, and Orion is one that I've been bullish on, and I first covered way back here. It was brought to me by one of my subscribers. We were actually right here in the pattern, and it was just such a classic W. So when I covered it, it was about $3.30. I said, look at this W pattern. It is set to break off. Came back a little bit, and then it was off to the races. Tremendous gains. And then since then, a huge pullback and retracement with a lot of things that came back. But even with the pullback, it didn't pull back to as low as it was before, which is one of the things I like about spot trading stuff is over time, there's a lot of forgiveness even if you're wrong. Even if you bought the retracement here and you bought some here as I did, well, I haven't sold that. I'm still holding it. Why? Because I'm waiting for it to correct. Now, I did load up a bunch here. I got some more on the way up. And so what I like about trading is you don't have to be right all the time. So I'm looking for a W here. Maybe it looks something like this. And then it's off to the races again. So Orion looking like maybe forming the first side of the W. Harmony 1, which is another one I covered way back when. Covered it back here. Absolutely went parabolic after I covered it. Not because I covered it. I think I only had like 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers back then. So on this one is much more classic W pattern. So you see this bigger rounded bottom. You see this one going not quite as low. See, that one went all the way down here. This one here. So what frequently happens is it comes up higher than this point, then it retraces to that, and then often goes off to the races. So if you're a big Harmony 1 fan, you might watch closely for this breakout. Another crypto that I'm a fan of is Zilliqa, and it's a third generation blockchain. Now Cardano is my preferred third generation blockchain that I love. I also really like Polkadot. But I do diversify my holdings, especially now that I've been in crypto for quite a while, and I have more to play with that I can diversify. So I do hold some Zilliqa. It looks like it might be forming one leg of a W here, and then wouldn't be surprised to have some things bring it back down. Then maybe it's ready for the races, or maybe it's going to be a longer term of pain, and maybe we get another downtrend like this, that is then forming part of the W, and then this is higher. Another one to look at is Polkadot. Now Polkadot's interesting because they should be doing parachain auctions soon, and so we have this really nice retracement all the way from $50 down to as low as $10, and that's an amazing retracement, making anywhere in here a great buy zone in my opinion. But specifically, if you like trading the breakouts, what you're looking for is to see if it does come back down here and give you, now I like to go for these. Now that doesn't mean that sometimes it doesn't go against you and go down, but when you're not trading on leverage, it's okay. If you believe, like I do, that later this year or early next year there's going to be another parabolic move, you just hold on to that. And it means that your timeline for holding is longer than you wanted, but it's very forgiving in this space as long as you're correct on when you're buying in a general uptrend versus a longer term downtrend. All right, so one that has been absolutely taking off and I wanted to cover and see if we can see these breakout patterns in it, that's Axio Infinity's AXS token. But it's actually, you know, I think it caught a lot of people off guard. It didn't follow some clear W's actually at any point in this. I mean, you could really try to make something happen here and say that's a W, but that's not a clear W at all. And so just know that generally these work. You could say that's kind of a W, but then it didn't have its dip down and take off. And so what's funny is often as these patterns play out, they don't always play out, and that's very much the case in this. I think that carried over to the gaming sector in general because a lot of the market wasn't ready for this to take off, and the Axie Infinity's token only took off so well because the game was actually having a lot of people playing it, and that was growing so much that it actually pushed Axie Infinity's token up when the general market wasn't ready for that. So you see none of the indicators, breakout indicators going on here, and yet it broke out strong. And I think that carried over to Elluvium because you don't see any clear W's here. And this is a game that looks really interesting. I want to cover it more deeply coming up. Now, I don't know that I'm extremely interested at this price. 237 market cap is 153 million. So I'll have to look closer, but I am going to cover this coming up. There aren't any clear breakout signals here, and yet it's going up, probably because the play to earn system is getting so much attention. Now, Elluvium will be on Ethereum, but not directly on Ethereum. It'll be on Immutable X, so that means decreased gas fees by a ton, just a fraction, and faster speeds, which is great. All right, so one of my favorites of all time is Ecomi. And Ecomi may be forming a classic breakout signal here. You got a big rounded bottom here, followed by a second rounding bottom that looks like it's possibly going to turn around and at a higher level than this previous low. And if so, that's a very bullish signal, looking for a possible breakout from here. Curious, isn't it? All right, well, that's what I want to share with you today. I hope you're having a great Saturday. I do appreciate you joining us. Having somebody produce a rap so that we've got a rap song for all you rainmakers that are committing to the 5-year plan. Now, that's this bull market, the bear market that follows, that you stick around during that time. Because if you take some good profits this bull market, that means you're cash rich during the bear market, and you can buy when everything is deeply on sale. Put you in a fantastic position for the following bull run to hopefully create the life-changing wealth that really is what drove you to crypto, right? So why not join us for the next 5 years? What else are you going to be doing? Because this is something that you don't have to focus full time on. I mean, I know there's a lot of information and no one person can keep up with all the information out there, but it is something that you can do on top of your life, on top of all the other things that you're doing. And if you're spending 60 hours a week on this, I don't know what you're spending 60 hours a week on. So I'm full-time in crypto, and it's not 60 hours a week for me, even with making the videos. So why not do this part-time? Stay tuned to us and just get some good information. Just know I can't give you financial advice. I can't tell you what to buy. I do share with you what I'm buying, how I think about it, what patterns I look for. Because crypto over the past 4 years for me has created life-changing wealth, and my guess is for you too, it can do that for you. So I do thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.